Most registered nurses trying to lose weight are doing the exact opposite thing that their body needs to actually start to lose weight. They're skipping meals throughout the day, they're running on coffee, and at the end of their day, after their shift, they're super exhausted and they're binging on snacks. They're binging on unhealthy snacks. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what registered nurses need to be eating, working day shift, working night shift, to help them lose fat and build lean muscle so they can have energy during and after their shifts. I've been working with nurses for the past 5 years now, and I've seen them burnt out. I've seen them super exhausted in the hospital setting, outside the hospital setting, and the way that they've been trained to eat is not conducive for their goals of trying to lose weight and have more energy. And the problem isn't discipline. It's not they lack the fortitude to actually do what's required. It's what they're actually doing, like I said, is not conducive at all. And that's what we're gonna go over in this video today. So let me show you the exact structure that I give all my clients that help them have enough energy to get through their shifts, but not only get through their shifts, when they get home, they don't feel as depleted and drained, and they actually have energy to do a few tasks around the house, show love to their family, and not act like a zombie. Okay, so this is the number one nutrition mistake a lot of nurses make: under eating all day and overeating at night. So you're going through your day, usually you're working a 12-hour shift, maybe 13, maybe 14 hours, and you're working a highly stressed state. Now, this is the equation a lot of nurses don't understand. When you're working your 12-hour shift, your cortisol levels are through the roof. Compared to a regular person working at a 9 to 5 job, your cortisol, your stress hormones are being secreted at a higher and at a faster rate than somebody working a 9 to 5 shift. So when you go through these periods of high stress and you're not eating, what that does to your body, it tells your body to switch into survival mode. And I talk about this quite frequently. Survival mode is not going to burn any fat. The body is not, because to the body, fat is energy, right? So if you're in survival mode, all your hormones are switching and telling your body, hey, we need to survive, we need to conserve energy. It's not going to burn fat. And this is the number one mistake, again, that we keep seeing nurses make. And it's not intentional a lot of the times. Like I said earlier, this is how they've been trained. They don't know how to actually eat, what to actually do to make sure that their body is not stuck in survival mode. And that's why they've been struggling to lose this weight the last 10, 15 pounds for the last 10 years. So instead of skipping meals, we follow this very simple structure. All right, let's take a look at it. So every meal, we're gonna have protein, we're gonna have healthy carbs, we're gonna have healthy fats. Now, the protein is essential to help preserve the muscle. And when you're sleeping, your body is utilizing the protein to build the muscle more durable, more stronger, more flexible. The healthy carbs, this is your primary source of energy, right? So if you go through your full 12-hour shift, 13, 14-hour shift, and you're not eating carbs, your body is depleted of energy, right? Depleted of good glucose to use to help you function throughout the day. So the healthy carbs, the fruits, the sweet potatoes, beans, those carbs are there to help you maintain that energy throughout your shift. Now, the healthy fat is to help stabilize your hormones, right? Fat is essential for hormone function, right? So when you're in a high stress state and you've got some nuts in you, you've got some eggs in you, you got some seeds, some chia seeds, these healthy fats are going to help maintain and balance your hormones in a unbalanced state, right? So you see why these three components of food are so key to keep you high functioning and keep you alert and energized throughout your shift, right? So this is the structure, this is the combination that's going to help you have a successful 12-hour shift, thus helping you lose fats and have all this energy. Okay, so I'm going to actually break down a full meal day structure for you guys. And here's a day shift schedule for eating, and here's a night shift schedule for eating. I give this to my clients and they found it super valuable. So I'm gonna give it to you guys here for free. And I hope you guys are able to implement this in your own daily lives, right? So your breakfast should be your heaviest meal, right? Whether you're day shift or night shift, right? And with my clients, we actually put in a personalized strategy per their work schedule, per the distance from their work, and we break it down to the minute how they should be eating, when they should be eating, before they go into work, right? So that's only exclusive to them. But for you guys, I will do a general breakdown of how you should be eating for your shifts, right? So like I said, breakfast should be your heaviest meal of the day, right? So something for breakfast, I like my breakfast sandwich. I have this breakfast sandwich that my clients love. They absolutely love. Number one, it's super easy to make, right? Super easy to make, and it is nutrient dense. So we have protein bagels. We have either ground beef or ground turkey rolled up and smashed into a meat patty. And then we have an egg and then some onions or pickles or avocado spread. You get to play around with what you like. And it comes out to be about 50 grams of protein, about 40 to 60 grams of carbs, and about 15 grams of fat. So that is an amazing breakfast right there because you're hitting all your components of healthy fat, especially if you use ground beef, 93% lean. You're hitting your healthy fat, you're hitting your healthy carbs, and you're hitting your protein. Like we just went over, this is the structure that you need to be following to be able to maintain that energy throughout your shift. So that's breakfast. Now for lunch, right? So lunch, depending on if your day shift, should be a little bit lighter because day shift is more hectic and you're more running around. You probably have more patience. Management is usually on site versus night shift where you have a little bit more leeway, especially if you're working in psych and you have the ability to knock out your patients, right? So it gives you more room to have a bigger lunch, right? So that's why regardless, breakfast should be a large meal. You shouldn't be running out the house with a Dunkin' Donuts coffee and a few munchkins, right? That's going to be the recipe for a disaster shift, okay? Lunch should be something like salmon or some shrimp mixed with some zucchini noodles and a side of yogurt. So you're getting the healthy fat from the salmon or shrimp. And why I suggest seafood, because seafood is easier to consume. So the salmon or shrimp gives you that healthy fat plus protein. The zucchini noodles, natural zucchini noodles, you're gonna get those healthy carbs, right? And you can also pair this meal with a piece of fruit or a juice, right? All my nurses are juicing, and this gives you lots of energy. Juicing is nature's energy drink. So forget Celsius, forget Red Bulls with all those additives and toxins and added sugar. No, you want healthy sugar. You want nature's sugar. So I always recommend a juice. And then you have your yogurt for added protein. So again, we're hitting the healthy carbs, we're hitting the healthy fats, and we're hitting the protein, right? This is, again, going to maintain energy throughout your shift. Dinner, or depending on if you're working day shift or night shift, I would just have another snack there. And another snack could be another yogurt, right? It could be some nuts, and then it could be some berries, another piece of fruit. Again, we're hitting the healthy carbs with the berries or the fruit. We're hitting the healthy fat with the nuts, and then we're hitting the protein with the yogurt. And you'll get some protein from the nuts, but not as much as you'll get from like a Greek yogurt. I personally love Okios. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Okios, however you pronounce it. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Here's a picture of it. Everybody loves it. They've got lots of different range of flavors, and I've never seen them have a recall. So I personally like to stick with Okios, however you pronounce it. Again, you have the healthy carbs, you have the healthy fats, and you have protein, right? So now we're completing our 12-hour shift. All these vital components for energy and muscle preservation and hormonal balance, you have all these components. So you are going to have a more productive 12-hour shift. And then when you get home, you can have a small dinner. So that is a full day of eating right there. And if you follow this routine, if you follow this structure, you cannot fail. Now, before you panic, I know you may be thinking, gosh, that's so much food and I probably need to spend 3-4 hours prepping. That is not true. You don't need to spend 3 to 4 or 5 hours prepping. Actually, with my clients, we actually do a meal prep for the week and it takes an hour, right? But since you guys are not in the program yet, hopefully you guys can come into the Hot Nurse protocol because we're making nurses healthy and sexy. But for you guys, I'm going to, again, do a quick demo on how you should meal prep. So to make it really, really condensed, let's say you're working a natural 3 days in a week. So you're working, let's say you work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So Friday, you probably have the day to recover, relax. Saturday, Sunday, you should use to meal prep for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, if you're following that same shift schedule for the following week, right? We're just assuming here. So Saturday, Sunday, you're making meals for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So you generally only need to make 2 meals because when you get home, you can make dinner, but if you don't have energy, you want to make 3. So you're only making 9 meals. To keep it really, really simple, just have those meals be the same meals. You can eat the same meals for 3 days. You've had the same Starbucks coffee for 30 days. You've had the same whatever meal from McDonald's or Chick-fil-A or whatever for 3 years, right? So I'm sure you can have the same healthy, delicious meal for 3 days. So Saturday and Sunday, use that to meal prep the same meal. And when you meal prep the same meals, you batch make. So let's say like you're having a sweet potato with salmon for that lunch, and then the breakfast is the breakfast sandwich. So you would make 3 patties and make all those breakfast sandwiches at the same time. That should take you 10 minutes, right? With it, and have another pan making the eggs, again, at the same time. So that's 10 minutes. Put it together. That's like 2 minutes to put those sandwiches together. So that's about 12 minutes. And then, but as you're making that, you've already cut the sweet potatoes and they're in the oven or in the air fryer, right? And then when you switch out the pans, now you're making the salmon. Salmon or shrimp takes like 5-10 minutes to cook. The seafood is very soft, it's very fast to cook, right? So now that's, let's say another 10 minutes. So that's 20 minutes. And now for the dinner, you could have had some chicken or some beef, and you could have tossed that in the air fryer. Personally, I like to have my chicken in the oven, bake it, 350 for 1 hour and 20 minutes or 15 minutes, gives it a nice brown, delicious inside. So that could have been in the air fryer or oven, right? So you see how I'm saying that you can batch create all these things and it could take you 45 minutes. 3 days of food, 9 meals in 45 minutes. So you don't have to stress. It's crazy how some of my clients come to me, they're like, I meal prep in like 3 hours. How can I make this work for me forever? I'm like, slow down, you need my system. So after I teach them my system, they're making their food in 45 minutes, 1 hour, hour 15, and most of them are making food for the entire week. They're making like 12 to 15 meals. And some of them are different. They're not all the same meals. So this is another value add that we teach in the Hot Nurse Protocol, okay? So I hope this gave you a nice breakdown on how you can just batch create all of your meals for your 3 days. And now it gets a little tricky if you're working 4, if you're working 5, if you're working 6 days. And if you are, God bless your soul. So I hope this was valuable. And this is how we really keep nutrition simple for registered nurses so they can have the components that they need to maintain energy throughout their shifts. So this is how we make it sustainable, right? The goal isn't perfection. For my type A nurses who they want to be perfect, if they miss a meal, they scrap the whole day or scrap the week and they want to start over next week, that's not going to help you to be consistent. For this to be sustainable, for this to be consistent, you have to be able to give yourself grace. You have to be able to have patience. You've gone the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years as an RN eating the way you've been eating, and that's why you're watching this video. So you can't expect to undo all of that behavioral training in 1 week. You have to give yourself grace. And you have to overcome the feeling that, hey, if I missed a meal today, or if I didn't follow the Hot Nurse Protocol structure, then, well, this day is in the garbage. We'll start over tomorrow or start over next day. That's literally going to keep you in this cycle of chasing something, this goal that you keep on a pedestal that's too high to reach. That's the problem. It's too high to reach versus, okay, you messed up today, give yourself some grace. Tomorrow, we got it, okay? Oh, maybe we messed up. Okay, the next day we got it. The next day, as you keep persevering, you will eventually get it. That's the power and the beauty of the human experience. As we keep pressing forward, we eventually will achieve whatever goal that we're working towards. So I hope that helped you understand how we can actually make this sustainable instead of putting all this pressure on yourself. So if you're a registered nurse watching this and you know that you feel stuck in your nutrition and just are constantly chasing the next day, meaning you're super exhausted after your 3-day stretch, the 2 days or 3 days you have to recover is just enough to get you back to normalcy, and then you get back into another 3 or 4 day stretch and you're just lost on how to eat. This is what we do in the Hot Nurse Protocol. This is a fraction of what we do because we do so much to help you guys not only have energy, but lose the weight so you can be sexy and healthy again. We want hot nurses walking around the hospital to encourage the sick patients to do what they gotta do to be healthy, right? But also for you guys, right? I want all of my nurses to be healthy and sexy because you guys do so much. When we came to this country, I watched my mom struggle, bust her butt for 20 years, started as a CNA, now she's an RN, and I watched her health decline. And with your health declining, the confidence will decline, start getting some comorbidities. And that's what drove me into creating this program. And After I got the blessing to work at MedStar Hospital, that's what drove me to create the Hot Nurse Protocol for you guys, because I want every nurse to be healthy and sexy. So if you are really struggling and you want to overcome this struggle, you want to be that healthy, sexy nurse, you want to get your confidence back, your energy back, fill out the link in the description for my one-on-one premium coaching program, and let's just have a conversation to see if this will be a good fit for you. But in the meantime, check out this video here because I know it'll be super valuable for you guys. All right, see you on the next one. Peace.